Hey everybody, and welcome back to Jaraci Cup 5. Oh shoot, right after I say that he gives me something to talk about. Whatever. It's going to be between Cookies as the Kanev player and Werhunter as the Galzian, so a bit of GVG action going to happen here, which I like. And of course, these two players, awesome replay pack here. They set this up perfectly, so we're going to be able to have no spoilers here at all. And they have a nice pick ban document as well, which we are going to read. As this first game gets underway, Cookie's going to be the Galzian player in the bottom here with these interesting Galzian colors. Actually, I kind of like that, even though it's pretty neon. He picked Kanev first, and then Werhunter picks Galzian second. Excuse me, I just ate some chocolate, so my voice is a little bit... like I have a bit of throat pain, but it's fine. Werhunter bans the Shallows, Cookies bans Canyon Outpost. I don't think anything stands out too much there. Every other map is pretty much fine on GVG, and then Cookies is going to pick College Teeth for game 1. This is a funny pick ban document. Cookies picks College Teeth, Werhunter picks Boneyard. Werhunter tries to pick Boneyard again, because technically the rules don't say he can't. Then he picks Crater. I like this. Cookies picks KT Alt, and then Werhunter picks Firebase Curl. So we got a pretty fun setup here. And I don't really know what to say about the matchups particularly well, because this is GVG, although it is GVK, I suppose. Slightly different, but... Oh, did you? I actually, I updated the thing that I had forgotten, but that'd be nice to put in there. That is good, though, because you're definitely right. We don't play the same map twice. And I think that's what these guys are referring to, so... I imagine they played game 3 like a little bit later. And they did all their pick bans before they started the game. That's really good. Yeah, I think these two players did their got their info.txt and got the setup for the match pretty much perfectly, so I'm very happy to see that. No tech on either side, so it's going to be ref mode after skim fab for Cookies here. No tech at all for Werhunter, who therefore has the skimmer advantage, but this is quite uncommon to see in GVG because normally this matchup is so volatile. If your opponent doesn't defend, you can come in and just kill them like right at the beginning of the game. That's not really what we're going to see here. It looks like these two players can tend to play it a little slow, but I think that it's Werhunter is going to be the aggressor. Rating getting teched here, second PC on the queue. And I've often criticized rating before tech because I feel like you really do need tech to deal with things as Galzian, but the 2 PC build here definitely infers that he's going to be going aggressive. I would love to see rail tech, but assault ships can work too. And he's retained the base runner, very expensive opener. 2 PC with a base runner, but he's going to go for artifact extractions there, get some pressure on his opponent, force his opponent to come to him in some ways, while at the same time attacking his eco. So it's going to be an interesting setup. They're starting to trade here, and the first trade goes very well for Werhunter. He's probably going to get a second skim here as well for his troubles, but focus fire is not exactly there. He's going to dive in under the carrier. Yikes. He does get both of the kills, but he loses 2 in the process, so I think they've traded evenly right now. Unless he loses this one on the backside. But he does have ratings, so he's faster. He can get out of here, so 3 for 3. Always a bit of a high-stress scenario when you're trading skims. It's a dangerous place to be, and Werhunter does choose to tech into AS. 2PC is out, ready to go. So we might be seeing a pretty exciting game from here on out. For those who are unaware, Kanev carrier actually very good at defending in the early game, because he has, I think, let me not get this wrong, I believe it's 850 range at base. I don't even trust myself here. Let's look it up in subsystem.log. He has got, so let's see, carrier, K underscore carrier. Weapon attributes, right? Man, I can't find this. Okay, here we go. Actually, wow, it has 1050 range. That's quite big. Sorry for the delay there. I had to know. 1050 range is about twice the range of a carrier. Carriers are about 500 meters across, so like, boom, boom. So like it has range up to like about here. And you can, without teching power 1, have a very strong defense because obviously your carrier can fire the missiles from power 0 at that range. So Conf carrier very good at defending in the early game. Usefulness in that regard sort of falls off as we move into the late game, but they're used in different ways. They power up the missiles and you have a really nice sort of you know, bombard, like attrition type of style here, and a really good fight being taken now by Cookies as well. He's gonna trade 1 for 0. Can he get this guy out? No, but he should really just recommit. He's going to. He kind of waited just a little bit too long there. I think these guys might get out. There's also Galzine base runner here that can pop heal, so. Striffles trades there again, but once again it remains even. 4-4. And Werhunter is chickening out. Oh, no, no, no. No, no, no. You gotta just shove in there, man. You've got the aggressive build. You want to be the fighter here. Although, that being said, Cookie's not very good scouting across the field because he's kind of doesn't have that scanner, but even if he did, he retired the BR, and he's been kind of under pressure the whole time, so he's got to assume his opponent is actually on 2 base right now. And he's teched Railfab, though, to be safe. So that's like kind of the danger there, is that it's possible that he's not going to tech, or he's not going to tech anything because he thinks that he just needs to build up his economy and then he dies to assault chips, but he's not going to do it, so I'm happy about that. Base runner picking up the artifact here, could also pop heal if he wants to take this fight really effectively, but he already has the numbers advantage. And this assault rail in a pretty good position, going to stop the push from continuing on here. Assault chips still haven't been teched. Or scouted, that is, sorry. Damage 1 now on the way for Cookie, so he's really investing into these skim upgrades here. And actually, ref mode going to come out from Werhunter. Yeah, he chickened out. Boo! I love to see players get 2 PC and then move out and like try to kill their opponent. That's so much fun to watch. So this is a little bit campy. I don't know. I don't like it too much. I feel like you might as well have just gone ref mode first in that case, which Cookies kind of did. But again, neither of those are really particularly good builds in GVG, so a little bit unfortunate. We do have Interceptor Fab coming out across the field, so we're going to transition into a pretty spicy mid-game anyway. And this kind of carry, just cyberbullying this PC, finally gets unlocked from the deadlock there, but he's getting way too close to these assault chips. Yikes. That's a bad place to be. Skims are going to jump on top of this as well, as they should. This is getting messy here, but one AR gets popped off for nothing, and I believe this army can make a clean escape as well. Conf Carrier going to get involved really early into the action here. This might result in the loss of a base runner, but this is what I'm really worried about. This base here, completely vulnerable right now, and if Werhunter is thinking about it, that's where he wants to go. And then he comes up with an answer to the assault railguns in the form of interceptors here, so I mean, I feel like he's Gucci, you know what I mean? Indeed. It's been pretty cool so far. Although, like I said, Werhunter playing a kind of lame style. I think he got 2 PC AS and then he moved into ref mode on off the back of it, which is not exactly meta. Afterburner tech coming out actually immediately before even building any of the interceptors, so that's pretty interesting to see. Definitely seems to want to really commit to that. This sort of heal is already used, but I mean, these are assault chips, you don't really want to just run into them. Damage 2, teching now on these sand skimmers. One of them gets jibbed there. These guys really need to back away though. Skims flying into the back line. This is exactly what I was saying he needs to do. And this is really bad. Skims obviously have to get pulled off to deal with this, but these are free trades in a mirror matchup, which you never want to be giving. And these guys are too close too. Maybe he could even... Oh. No. Doesn't look like he's going to micro for that. But these guys stuck around a little bit too long, actually, so they're starting to trade really badly against well-upgraded skims, and they're on their own. Yikes. Better that he got the damage that he already had and then backs away. If we look at the units lost tab, now he's actually behind where he was ahead at first. I'll definitely agree with that sentiment, Cowshmow. I feel like GVG is just like ultimate stress mode in every way. You know what I mean? By the way, Siege Cruiser Fab coming out now for the Conf carriers, so that's going to be pretty spicy. Conf Siege, right? Everyone's favorite unit. This AS really wanted to be over here, but he didn't necessarily know. So this is really going to be painful, this backstab. Because AS not really in range to deal with this properly anyway. Oh yikes, he's getting like rallied in multiple different places, and the skims are gonna jump in here too. You know what, this looks pretty bad actually. And Cookies, who, by the way, I didn't even expect him to emerge from the group stage, to be honest, but he's doing well here, man. Like, he's kind of owning in the upper brackets, so... He's got so many skims, he can just kill these assault ships. Yikes. These ARs just kind of got out free. In fact, they take a sand skimmer with them. And this PC is gonna die. Oh no, this is terrible damage for Werhunter now, who had moved this carrier out to be aggressive and everything, and now is probably feeling a little bit silly for it. Do we have any heavies? No, we don't have any heavy railguns yet, so I mean, this carrier is actually quite threatening, but... The back line is just not really there to support it. PC goes down. Bit of wreck blocking going on these skims, but they're okay. Yeah, well, I can believe it. Cookies is playing really well, and now I'm feeling silly for ever doubting him. Possibility for some det packs here, but not going to be used. Another skim going to go down, though. These skims here finding, or salvager, sorry, these guys finding the carrier. They don't exactly want to fight with that, so they're going to back away. But these skims are so upgraded, that's the thing you gotta realize, like, Cookies wants to take these fights, right? He's on full upgrades against, like, Armor 1 rating, so he wants to fight here if he can. Here's the air, though. This is what we were waiting for. This was, like, his answer. But don't use it against the skims. No. No. You want to use the air here. That's definitely the right call. Skims that aren't moving actually do take quite a bit of damage from insta, as you can see, but once they start moving, look at that, pretty negligible damage. Con of Carry here not as powered up, though, as the Galzian one, so this could still go either way, I suppose, but it's kind of a Hail Mary at the end here. Heavy rails are being produced. This is what I was wanting to see. There's also Con of Siege popping out now. And the Galzian Carry takes a lot of damage onto the lead-up as well, and then here's the Con of Siege. And I feel like that's probably all she wrote for for Werhunter, who actually cannot even escape from this scenario. And that might just be the end of him. Another PC goes down. Skims dying left and right. Looks like Cookie's gonna be a little bit graceful here, just allow his opponent to escape for now. I think he could have killed him, to be honest. He's got 2 heavy rails here, he's got the Con of Siege, but he probably is a little bit worried about air. He's teching missile battery, of course. Another thing to note, by the way, Cookie's not really interested in this third base. He didn't need it. He got so much damage done on this attack that he just kept building army, and it's worked quite well for him. Here's again what we were talking about with interceptors firing against moving sand skimmers. Really pretty bad damage output. You never want to fire interceptors at Strikecraft if you can get away with it. They're designed for other units. In fact, assault rails can actually dodge interceptor shots. It's like the coolest freaking thing. Whereas strike fighters, they track the target, so there's no way to like dodge them. But third PC going down here now for Werhunter, and I don't know what he does at that point. I mean, that's pretty grievous damage. He's just going to be left as only a carrier, and I think we're going to turn on the Benny Hill music once again. 2 cells go down there, or skins, sorry. Actually a pretty good hit on the interceptor after all. And this attack finally going to get cleaned up, but just as it does, Werhunter decides, yeah, you know what, I've had enough of this. And he surrenders. Game 1 going to go to Cookies. Excellent work, that was a lot of fun. Definitely non-meta matchups that we saw in the build orders and stuff, but I'm okay with that. Because we still got some pretty spicy GVG action. I will say though, against an optimized GVG build, I feel like you're probably going to die if you do that kind of stuff, but we will see though. I think the key to GVG is just to tech early. Yeah boy, this is a freaking best of 5. Buckle your Kansas, because your seatbelt is going bye-bye. Map 2, Boneyard, picked by Werhunter. This is where he wanted to fight. He is, of course, you know, the lower seed here, which means technically he should have, like, the advantage. And this is where he's chosen to take things. Hey, Houston. How goes it, my friend? We're really sad we didn't get our game in today, man. I was actually really hyped for that. Unless... No, it's probably not going to happen today, which is quite a pity. So it's going to be, I think, the same thing that... No, yeah, this is the same thing, I think, from Cookies. I'll tell you, the meta GVG builds, though, right now are actually to go for AS first or Rail first, and we find that on most maps you'll die if you don't do one of those two things, and there may even be some maps, I think, like Kalash is like this, where you might die even if you go for Rails, so... Between Cow and you. Oh, that's who you faced in the lower bracket. No, I haven't seen it. Don't usually cast lower bracket games, but I would cast this one if you like it. In casual replays. No, you played Military Beetle. I see, okay. Yeah, maybe we'll cast that if we get through these other ones. Ref mode coming out first now for Cookie. I shouldn't say that, Egan will get mad. Ref mode coming out second after Skim Fab. Gotta clear my throat, oh my gosh. Oh yeah, what am I talking about? Houston's not even in this tournament, is he? Sorry, I'm having a Pepega moment. 2PC once again going to be the choice for Werhunter, and now he's just got to build or attack faster. That was his big mistake. But again, it's going to be armor being teched here first. No spoilers for chat, by the way. I'm hoping that no one gets spoiled as to like how the series turned out, but I heard it was pretty cool. Ref mode done for Cookies, Assault Ship Fab on the way. And 2PC is out. Yeah, because this is what I get for eating chocolate before trying to cast. I've got throat problems, man. It's bad. It feels like there's something like building up in the back of my throat that makes it like painful to talk, you know what I mean? And I've got to like clear it out constantly. It's bad of me. But I will survive. I will survive. This happens whenever I eat something sugary before like trying to talk. Assault Ship Fab on the way now for Conef. That's the thing, I feel like 2PC would be a good call, but Werhunter is being very late in pushing it. I think he can do a lot more... Oh no, he cancelled tech, didn't he? Or maybe he never even had it on the way. Because the thing is, getting 2PC with no tech, I feel like you're really in a bad spot. If someone goes AS, for example, like he already has, a couple of assault ships come across the field, like, you're not going to be able to fight them with your skims there, so you really got to tech into something else. And most of the 2PC builds that I do these days actually are 1PC builds that move into 2PC as the game progresses. And that, from what I understand, is the meta for now. Even in GVC. But Cookie's just being very, very slow here, very campy. You know what? That's a really good point, actually. That's a really good point. If Cookies has the base burner, he also has the blast drones. I like your line of thinking here, Cal. Because you're right, that's actually scary to deal with out in the midfield as Galzian, because obviously there's just more production lines for your opponent. Skimmer over here, by the way, I think wants to check this carrier, but maybe he already did. There's no tech there, though, and he sees that it's not 2-base, so he's probably scratching his head a little bit here. Cookies with the second PC building up now, and once this finishes, no advantages on the field at all for Werhunter, so this is quite bad. Except for, I guess, his skimmers are more teched. But... yeah, what were they? What did you like to do? Skimmer Armor 1 is no longer the sauce. I see. Well, didn't it used to be that, like, blast drones would kill skims with Armor 0 but not with Armor 1, and I think that's, like, changed now? Because I used to always get that, too, in GVK games. Although, I'm starting to think now, though, like, back to the... I'm starting to think back to the Jaraci Cup days. I feel like we probably would have died if people had known what they were doing and done these more like builds that are currently meta, which is surprising because obviously, you know, meta usually is a reaction to like what other people are doing, but I think this honestly was like the best option. We just missed it. Do like 1 PC builds and stuff. And actually at the very end of the... Oh dear, he needs to get this guy in here, because this is a lot of skims. Probably Jetpacks is his only option here. He really needs... Oh, he doesn't have the money for it anyway. Oh, he could actually take some serious damage here. I think he underestimated the skim ball. Ouch. Anyway, I think in like the late days of GVC, we would see... or GVG, that is. We saw basically the meta settled finally into the only thing you could do really was the Soul Chip Rush. And I believe it would have stayed that way forever. I don't know if there's any better build that you can do as Galzian. A lot of skims getting chopped off there, but he did get the PC kill. I'm inclined to say that was worth it. Check the units lost tab here. Yeah, he's not even behind in units lost, so that was definitely worth it. Now, if he goes for Earth mode now, I will actually really like it. But instead, he's going for Rail Fab, and this is even better. But I don't want him to back away. I want him to push out and just say, like, okay, I killed a PC. I clearly have the skim majority. If I get rails, I don't have to worry about these assault chips. So, you know, we're go for the kill, right? Like, that's what I would do. But it looks like he's backing away here, and I suspect that Ref mode is going to build up next. He's salty because you got his skimble. Wait, did you do GBK actually? Because GBK is kind of a fun matchup, yeah? Yikes, this is going to be a second PC kill. You know what? Cookies was like way ahead at the beginning of this match, but like, oh man. I think he's going to lose now, because like losing 2 PCs as Galzian, I mean, it's not good. And he can get out too, I think. Werhunter teching very heavy into skimmer upgrades. Yeah, you want to back up though. Just don't get killed by these assault chips, basically. But it's hard to like close the net when you know that these skims can actually kill one of them, so you have to have them all together. So these guys are gonna get out free. Crazy, dude. And I'm starting to realize maybe this is the reason why... Maybe this is the reason why low-tier players are teching skim upgrades so much, is because this kind of thing does happen sometimes. Where your opponent feels like he's covered, but he actually gets out. You know? This is crazy. Because, I mean, he's got all the counters on the field. He had, like, 2 PC to 2 PC, no ref mode on his side, assault chips were on the field, armor 2. But he still did this. I can't believe it. That's unreal. Interceptor Fab, by the way, was teched, but again, if he had chosen to like take the rails and then just push out across the field at the 2 PC, Interceptor Fab wouldn't have done anything. And you can see that he doesn't have ref mode, he just started it, so he wouldn't have been exactly like hurting for money if he hadn't done this. His economy would be exactly the same. These are assault rails, by the way. I'd actually prefer heavies, because again, you know you have got the skimmer majority and the upgrade majority. So the chance that your opponent beats you with skims almost 0. I think heavy rails are better. They get sunder, so your skims can kill these assault chips really quickly. They're just generally cooler looking, if I do say so myself. And obviously they can kill that carrier. This is kind of a bit of a bad engage right here. Because he got too close to the AS, but he's going to be okay. Yeah, man, it's a freaking Gucci game. Oh my gosh, look at that. He already has anti-air. He actually snipes a skim with, or an int that is, with one of the anti-air units there. Is this a heavy? Nah, it's an assault gun. Yeah, so I think, now that he's got anti-air, he can still move out on 2 PC. His opponent is just rebuilding Eco right now. So yeah, if he builds heavy rails and stuff, like, he should actually win the game from here. Which is great, because he was doing something that I think was so countered by what his opponent had, but it's not going to be so. Cookie's not sure what to do, wants to tech skimmer armor, but he's like, I don't even have any production on the field right now. Like, would that be a waste? I think it would. Honestly, maybe Conf Siege is like his only option, I feel. More skim's gonna die here though, probably. Man, after that buff, that Conf carrier is really fast. This is crazy to watch. I wonder if there are like mega broken like carrier rush strats as Conf that we haven't found yet, but I don't know. A-Game was a bit worried about such things, I believe. Base runner coming out here for Werhunter now, so this has just now been built. I think he's making a PC as well off of his carrier, which is great. Obviously you want to unlock that carrier when you get up to 3 base. And he doesn't really even have that much of a float, which is really good for him. So this is looking pretty tasty moving into the late game. I think he's playing just properly here. Assault Rails want to kind of back up a little bit, get with that anti-air. But the anti-air, by the way, is going to be really effective actually at killing this carrier, because of course it's got the missile barrage. And the air units, whoa, bit of a yawn there. Sorry, the air units are feeling a little bit useless here. I don't know exactly where they can get their damage in. I'd say it's probably at the main, but it's hard to know. It takes a lot of micro also to be able to control both sides of the field at the same time like that, so certainly no blame for players who are not able to get, you know, the insane value out of air units that someone like, say, Discara can do, so no blame here at all. Honor Cruiser Fab actually coming out from Werhunter, that's his choice. I would also start taking power reserves if I would hit him, just start grabbing these artifacts as well, it's always going to be nice. And I would move that carrier out into the middle. Yeah, yep. He's taking power reserves, he's getting artifacts, exactly. This is just what he wants to be doing. And he builds up that skimmer ball, which I think is good. He also has a heavy rail, I think. Yeah. Only one, though. I mean, probably more is better, but... yeah, I totally agree. I totally agree. And that's kind of what I'm trying to do here, although, of course, we don't have any prize pools, so it's a little difficult. But, like, man... oh, yeah, look at that. Werhunter actually is going to decide that his time is up. He's going to GG out of this game. Like, if DOK had gotten big, this is a game that you could be playing on the... you know, the big scene, right? Like, the big stage. Oh, did I say Werhunter gave up there? Yeah, I always do that, man. It's terrible. Something wrong with my brain, man. I must have, like, Alzheimer's or something. That's a 21-year-old. Well, let's move into game 3, shall we? But man, like, DOK could have been just absolutely insane. It's really a pity that it wasn't, too. It's pretty fundamental mistakes, I think, that BBI and Gearbox did while they were producing the game that caused it to not really pick up. Like, you know, fairly bad marketing. Fairly bad micro. Fairly bad marketing, like... people didn't know the game even existed when it came out, right? I still have people today who like learned that DOK exists for the first time. They're like, what? It was quite expensive too. It was kind of marketed as a AAA release, but there were a lot of flaws in the early game. The balance was pretty good, but not terribly great. But like Torrent Crater and College Teeth were the only multiplayer maps, and there were no replays. And I heard there were also some kind of serious bugs in the game when it first released as well. Overall, I think it just needed a bit more time in the oven, time when they could have been advertising it too. And you know, who knows what we could have gotten. It would have been insane. Although I've got to say, DOK kind of is like perfect timing for me, because I wouldn't be the voice of DOK if it had come out and been like a success. But that's a selfish thought, though. So we'll strike it from the record. Skimmer Fab coming out from Cookies here after 2 salves. This is again what he's done all the other games. A little curious, like what the reasoning behind that build is, because it's not ref mode first. I would do a little bit of adaptation here, although it's always a little risky because your opponent could just suddenly kill you by adapting on his own. But you know, I'd be getting ref mode first. Actually, just be a little bit more aggressive with the eco here because your opponent has not attacked you pretty consistently until like the I don't know, 26-minute mark or something like that. Counting down, of course. That sounds insane. Because the timer is blocked off here. You can't see it, which is annoying. Yeah, when did it release? Like February or something? Maybe March? January. Oh. Really? Wow. Yeah, I think the Artifact Cup started in February or something. Replays, man. Replays, replays, replays. That is like the #1 thing that Homeworld games need. If Homeworld 3 doesn't have replays, I swear I'm gonna riot. Homeworld Remastered doesn't have them either. Homeworld 2 didn't. Homeworld 1 did, actually. I'm kind of surprised that they dropped the ball on it. But Homeworld 1 replays are very much like DOK replays, before like we got the tech viewer and stuff. But it's even worse, I suppose, because like in Homeworld 1, you also don't know the health of enemy units, and that reflects in the replays too. You can't see the health of enemy units in Homeworld 1 replays, which is pretty funny. Yes, observer mode, I definitely agree. Because especially like if you're gonna watch games live, like if you're gonna have, you know, live tournaments, if you don't have observer mode, like, oh my gosh, it's just impossible, right? Someone has to like mod it in and stuff. It's not a good time. So these are things that Homeworld 3 has got to have. By the way, Cookies actually is going to be mixing it up a little bit this game. He didn't retire the base runner. I didn't catch this before. And a map editor, yes. Oh my gosh, please. That would have been so nice for DOK. But anyway, Cookies is making blast drones and moving out into the back lines here, you know. I don't have the Jaws music on my computer, but you can imagine, like, that's what you should be thinking in your head when you see this. One thing I'm unsure about, though... Oh, there's a blast drone in the eco! Look at that! That's so good, actually. That's so good. But I agree with you, Kaushmau. Werhunter is in a dominant position right now, and he has rail fab, so this could be a 2PC rail push, and that would be really nasty. This is exactly what he didn't do in the other games that I wanted to see him do, and now he's doing it, so I'm really happy with this. Don't get ref mode after you build 2PC, go for the attack, and that's what he wants to do. 4 skins to 4 here. Who's got the upgrade advantage? It is actually Cookies, so he has to be a little bit scarce here, but if these skims choose to keep chasing, they get pulled off the main really far, and of course there's another threat over there as well. And Werhunter, we saw, likes to tech his sand skimmer upgrades here, but he is going to be attacked on the main. Probably doesn't see this happening either. Oh, yikes! Ooh. Yikes. Did you know you can chat and replay? Oh yeah, look at that. F in chat, that's perfect. Obviously I was doing tilde F to like focus on the other carrier. Well, that's a feels bad for sure. I always say the number one lesson of playing with against ConF is find the base runner. That's like goal number 1. Uh-oh, we have an idle salve here on the main. How long has this guy been slacking off? Yeah, you're right, Military Beetle, you're right. I think what happened was he took 2 on CUs first, like 4 on CUs, and then his next ones came out to fill the RU slot when the carrier was facing backwards or something. No, that doesn't even make sense. How did this happen? I'm not exactly sure, but yeah, he did definitely win out on that placement. But Cookies still has the sand skimmer majority, and of course that wouldn't be so if he hadn't, you know, lost eco to these blast drones, because oh. You gotta make sure every time you hear a carrier fire a missile, you move. That's kind of the play there. But normally you'd expect Werhunter to have the sand skimmer majority here because he had 2 PC, but with this eco getting gutted like that, it's really complicated. And so assault rails, yeah, that's exactly what I was gonna say. This is the answer. And he's gonna win this sand skimmer fight too, I think, right? Well, maybe not. Kind of mix of high ground and upgrades, I think, makes it a little hard to say he's gonna win that, but assault rails are definitely the answer when you're down in skimmer numbers. Uh-oh, this is a bit of a throw to keep them back in there in the front. Takes a lot of damage there. Ooh, okay, so how many assault rails has he got? Just 1? Yeah, I think he kind of has to just back off here. And Cookie's making a 3rd PC, wow. This is really aggressive, like he doesn't even care that he's on the defense, he's just like, no, you are die now. Yeah, Werhunter definitely needs more skims here, he needs ARs as well. These heavy rails kind of a little bit out to dry, I've got to think, because they can't run away very quickly, and the skims are going to find them here. But the assault rail is in the hood. A little bit of damage wasted on the heavy rail too, you got to imagine that's kind of the wrong choice here. He is going to get a kill on one of them, but it looks like the skims are going to go down, I think. Well, he gets the assault rail too. A bit of bad focus fire as well coming out from Werhunter, but he is probably going to win the skim fight, but he may lose all of these railguns here. And this ConF carrier is just out for blood, and I love this. He's just driving across the field. And he doesn't have to stop at all. There's no threat for him at all here. So I mean, he could just drive. I don't know. I think Werhunter might just die here, but third PC is out. Gonna move off to that third base location. Yeah, this is a power play here. He wants to just finish him off. He's gonna get an extraction out too. He's taking more skimmer upgrades as well. I think actually maybe Con of Siege is the right option here. He would have the money for it if he would cancel. Not quite actually, but jeez, yeah, I think he's just gonna try to muscle him out of the game right here. He's got armor done, by the way, like a soul chip fab, but he just doesn't even need them. He just is building skims. That's all he needs. This reminds me of release days, right? This endless skim warfare. By the way, Werhunter's skim's actually slower than Cookie's. But yes, Con of Siege, that would be huge here. Gaussian Siege, not so much, of course. The Skimmer Blob is probably just going to kill it off. But Con of Siege, of course, no such weakness, and he has the Skimmer majority. He could really chunk his opponent with that. But I think the other thing he could do, first off, is be powering up the mobility support. That's obviously kind of a nice thing to just get across the field a little bit faster, but also start powering up his carrier with power reserves. But Werhunter is thinking no such thing either. 2 more BDs. Oh boy, the skims are actually just kind of trying to shroud in for these BDs. They're getting close. Oh, the body block is good, and he ends up losing them before they get to the eco. That's crucial for Werhunter now, but this is so many skims, and he's definitely lost the skim war at this point. No armor upgrades, or like no armor tech. I don't know what he can do about this. Power 1 was sort of a must-have, but it's not there. Yeah, that's got to be GG. I agree with you, Kaushmao. Con of Carry is in the hood too. He's got yeah, he's taking power. That's good. And he has power in the missiles there too, so he'll just kind of march up and start throwing these missiles. Not throwing the game, throwing the missiles. Not a bozo throw, but a Con F throw. You know. Still has an idle. Oh, what the heck? These numbers don't add up, right? Am I just crazy or? Oh, okay. I was like, what is going on over there? The missiles are ready to throw here now. Of course, missiles, of course, the Con F carrier missiles do a lot of damage to carriers. That's why this is a good idea. And he just keeps up the skim majority. So that he can fight his opponent here. If rails ever come out, he'll be able to deal with them. And this carrier should just kill the Gaussian carrier right off. And of course, with this little power, there's no way he can speed out of the way. So I think Cookies is a little bit too passive here. Just really push that advantage. He's got it. But it's still good, and you can see the damage is starting to come in. And a 4th PC being built by Cookie, so I think he's going to try to take a 4th base, which is just dirty, but I love it. Once you're on 4 base to your opponent's 1, I feel like you're probably in a winning position. I don't know, that's kind of a controversial opinion, though, I'm sure. Anytime you can take your opponent's bases, you're feeling good about things. Oh, narrowly dodges losing those 4 salves, too. That was really good from him. Power 2 finishing now, 3 in the missile slots. Puts 1 in self-heal, I love that. Actually, he cancels it. Freak. And there's that 4th PC. So yeah, getting skim majority for Werhunter just not really going to be feasible at this point. Because we got 4 freaking production slots. As much as it triggers some Gaussian flavored PTSD. Dude, I feel you, man. I feel you. I always do be trying to rep the Gaussian faction, you know. But man, they were bad in vanilla. Not as bad as Soban, but pretty tough to play as. Skim's getting chunked here. I want to just back away a little bit. Yeah, that's good. But this carrier actually wants to be more aggressive, and I think he's backing away because there is a sort of a Con F stigma of like, yeah, if you get into a carrier fight, you lose. And I think he's trying to be careful because of that. But it's not actually true in patch. If you have more power reserves, you can win that fight. Patch GVK is still really hard. Yeah, I agree. You have advantages though where your opponent can't go eco as well as you can. Oh, I love that. That's nice and cheeky. Missiles firing down on the base runner while he's immobilized from the self-heal. for sure. But, you know, that's any game. Takes a lot of practice. By the way, tons of skims just, like, waiting here to be deployed into the battle, so, I mean, if it looks like he's starting to lose the skim war, it's because it's 1 PC versus 2, but he's got, like... He's got some stuff back here. But yeah, at this power level, he actually will win, he will win a carrier fight even if they're right on top of each other, so he doesn't really have to worry about that. Conef carrier also, by the way, has more HP, but also with power 3 having researched, he gets, I think, 600 extra, so... The Gaussian carrier has by far the least HP in the game. Yeah, and look at this, he's making the power play, he realizes, hey, wait a minute, I can just win, so... No, he's backing away, actually. Oh, whoa, look at that float. Did you see this? I didn't realize he had that much freaking money. Holy moly, what? Yeah, and Werhunter, as you can see, is just grinding away here, so he's really not got anything left. That kind of tells the whole story, doesn't it? I think he's saving up RUs or something, but... No, I agree, I agree. Conef, it takes a lot of multitasking to really get the full DPS out of this carrier while still having a proper macro game in the back end. But 4-base, I think, is unnecessary at this point. And here come the skims, by the way, they're just kind of trailing in. I might just set a rally for all 4 of the PCs down here. It's easier to handle it. Not many players can really deal with having split production. I'm very bad at it myself, which is kind of funny because I play Gaussian, but... Like, I am terrible when I have split production. Most people are, to be fair. Power 4 about to finish though, Siege Cruiser Fab on the way, 4th artifact coming out. Werhunter, he knows, like, look man, this ain't going nowhere. Gonna choose to surrender. And you know what I gotta say about Cookie's gameplay here is he knows when to go for eco, and like, the vast majority of players, I would say, if they would just learn, look, 3-base is the goal, like, they would win a lot more games than they do. So, I really love seeing that from Cookies. This is great. Let's load up game 4 here. G4. Gonna be on Firebase? No, Kartoba, right? Yes. I do hope they use the layout properly, but I imagine they would have. You never know, though. Sometimes you're like, ooh. Yes, this was Cookie's pick. Does this map favor anyone based on what we've seen in this matchup so far? What do you think about that? Honestly, I feel like this map actually favors Werhunter a little bit. You think it's a good pick for Cookies? Because my thought here is that Werhunter is, Werhunter, I think, is better at having, like, the wide field type of attacks, you know what I mean? And on Kartoba, it's so important to be able to, you know, outflank your opponent. You know, it's interesting, but I feel like this, like, passageway through the Kartoba is, like, never used on this map, actually. Which is kind of fun. Like, it's there, but you don't often use it, except for, like, maybe in the very early game. But guys, wouldn't it be cool if you could drive on top of the Kartoba? Yeah, definitely, definitely. Especially like railgun rushes, for example, up on this hill. Nasty. Like, that's so good, that positioning right there. 2-1, by the way, for Cookies here, so Werhunter is definitely on the end of his rope here, his tournament life on the line in this game. He has to win it. In this game, I'm still not totally sure what he's going for, but I think it's going to be 2 PC. Well, you have kind of a similar thing on the other side, actually, with like this dude here. The really interesting difference there is that if you're on this side of the map and you do... If you're on this side of the map and you do a railgun rush and you get to here, you like auto-win the game. Whereas there's a lot of cases where you can throw even after pushing your opponent off the second base. I've done that before. It feels bad for sure. So I don't know. I think it's probably better to get that spawn for the rail rush. But This spawn's not bad either. And it's got a really nice defense too. So, of course, I always say it's rather unfortunate that the spawns have to be different at all, but that is just the way the cookie crumbles. Because of the BDs. That's a good point. Although he did retire that base runner. And the thing is, like, if you retire the BR, you can get the rails out a lot faster. But BDs do always throw a bit of a wrench into the whole equation here. By the way, good micro from Cookies. These are just scouts, but if you can win the scouting battle, it's always nice. He does get a kill there. He's probably going to get this guy killed, though, because he sets a kind of a bad rally here, like a bad waypoint. A move being used by Werhunter, actually, which is kind of interesting to see. We don't usually see that. I think actually A-game uses it, perhaps, but this artifact is actually going to extract, which is great for Werhunter. This skim reaching the edge of the map here, he's not going to get out, I don't believe. So that's going to be 1 for 1, I believe, so far in this early game. Decent scanner positioning as well, and it's going to be assault chips first from Werhunter before the second PC. So this is a bit of an adaptation, and I like it. But now what he's got to do is do some damage with these guys. The artifact, good. So he's got some advantage out of the whole thing. By the way, good positioning for these skims will be up on this hill. If you've played Kartoba 3v3, this hill turns out to be pretty important. Heal gonna be popped, actually. That's a good idea. It does heal your enemies, but not by very much. And it heals you by a lot more, but he is still gonna lose this fight, it looks like. And I believe that makes the Sandskimmer kill score like 4-2 or something? 3-1. Oh, okay. It's interesting there's all this like stuff buried out there. Thing here too, what is that? Anyway, I'm getting distracted though. There's action going on across the field here. Base burner actually goes down now for Werhunter, so no more artifacts able to be extracted like that. Second PC is on the way for Cookies here, and I'm starting to worry a little bit again for Werhunter. So again, if you don't have ref mode, I think this PC has got to be forward. Good army presence, but they could actually be coming in more of a wave if the PC was with them. After all, it actually has, I think, the same movement speed as the assault ships. Almost. It's got 2 meters per second faster, but that's not a huge deal, I don't think. And Siege Fab starting really early for Cookies here, so that's definitely an adaptation from him as well. But remember I said I felt like he should be more aggressive about eco? That's what he's doing this game, and I think it's working for him. That remains to be seen right now. This is when the assault ships would be, you know, the best. Oh hey, it's Serum. Hello, my friend. PC comes out, this carrier feeling like it can unlock. And it's moving out to pop Siege, I think, but like, this is a little bit aggressive actually. These AS could easily have gotten behind him there. Yeah, actually, as I say it, look at this. You've got AS pushing over on this side. If this one's rallied to here, which I can't see right now, but that would be the ideal. Looks like it. Oh, but I forgot, he's got enough upgrades on these skims, actually. He can kill off this this AS here. Yikers. Yeah, maybe splitting them was a mistake then? I don't know. But if this attack doesn't do damage, then Werhunter is in a very bad place, and a bad place for the series. If he loses this game, he's out, so... Yikers. Yeah, I definitely agree. Salvager goes down. He's actually going for, like, gunning for the PC here. That's definitely a mistake. He's not going to get that. Just want to kill off Salvagers if you can, but this timing ref mode is probably required. Yeah, AS are definitely easy to be punished for building. I think they're still good, but you've gotta kind of know what you're doing. You know what I mean? So they're a little bit scary to build sometimes. But way more versatile than they were in vanilla. So I definitely don't think that they're like bad units. Just easy for AS pushes like this to kind of fall apart. Sometimes it's a little hard to understand why it happened, but I think in this case it was just a case of being too slow. The PC didn't come with them, so there's no kind of wave buildup. And they couldn't find any of their targets here because that carrier move was surprisingly good, actually. I was worried that was going to be a bit of a throw, but it didn't turn out to be that way. No, actually no tech at all. I think Cookies... No, he did have tech, didn't he? Because he had kind of Siege on the way. Yeah, definitely, but they kind of got like split up. And then actually the Skims killed one of them on their own, which was quite bad, so... That was kind of the end of the AS push there. I do remember that, Cow. I do remember that. Well, you should try to pick it up again, actually, because AS are pretty fun units now. Much better. Much better than they used to be. Power 1 teching for Werhunter now, so I think this is a reaction to kind of knowing like what's coming at him here. But I don't know what he does. There's already 2 siege cruisers here. Well, I mean, the thing about AS that you gotta realize is that they don't usually... They don't have the threat of just finishing you off, right? In vanilla, they had so much HP that they could just like drive right through a carrier and like kill the eco behind it. That never really works in patch. But you can slow your opponent down so much because the threat of AS is huge, and they have really good poke potential as well. So I think that's kind of the way that they're meant to be used. Double Con of Siege firing some barrages out here. Kind of a big miss if you ask me, but... Oh, EMP. It's actually going to catch the targets. Manages to kill one and stun the other. But double Con of Siege versus this low power of a Con of Galzian carrier, I don't think this works. I think this has got to be Cookie's game here. It maybe could get a bit close, but I don't know. Teching power 2 is definitely a must-have here, though. I like the AS here defending, but probably wants 2 of them on this base as well. It's gonna get ransacked. Yeah, Serum, I definitely agree with that. That is 100% true. Do you make them like the core of your army? They're too flimsy, right? And if AS gets killed, you know, bad times. Actually, Cookie is going for the PC snipe. He's not gonna get it here, but he will probably get the carrier snipe. Power 3 is on the way, but it's just gonna be too little too late, I think. Power 2 is on the way also for Cookies, which I like. Oh, what? Why is he targeting the AS? This carrier's like on its last freaking legs here. Actually, as you can see, assault ships can also fight Con of Siege, not particularly convincingly, but they can do it. This guy doing some insane backflips before he died, but... Yeah, he trades like 7 assault ships or something for like two siege cruisers. But that is a cost-efficient trade that I would take any day of the week. And Werhunter definitely just kind of backed up into a corner here now. And what are you gonna do then? Yeah. AS work very differently than in vanilla. It's always a bit surprising if you haven't seen the interaction before. It's hard to explain exactly what they look like. But again, this carrier wants to push. I think Cookies is thinking of games where he's died as Conf because Galzian carriers are much better than them in vanilla, but that's not true anymore. Yeah, well, the real thing is that you're hoping to delay your opponent by getting the siege in the assault ships in the first place. This could be a dead carrier, by the way. Yep, and it is going to be. And that's Cookies winning this series 3-1, so he will advance up to the quarterfinals to fight, I believe, who, actually? I think maybe Descara? Although I've got to say I'm sort of blanking on exactly the shape of the upper bracket here. But yeah, Galzian Siege is not bad either. And... you know, I would, in some cases, prefer having it to having Con of Siege, although Con of Siege definitely is much better in like the 1v1 fight, but that's clearly, you know, we don't have these units in a vacuum. Assault ships do really well with siege paired with them, and Con Siege actually almost just takes the role of the assault ship on top of the role of the siege cruiser. So, I mean, I don't know how to explain it. It's just kind of an interesting matchup. If the Galzian player opens the assault ships and he succeeds in slowing down his Coneth opponent, he's actually in a really good spot. Just as he would be if he had managed to slow down, you know, a coalition opponent that way, even though assault ships and AVs have a tough matchup as well. So it's kind of hard to explain, but I feel like assault ship opener is actually very viable. Very viable in GBK. Yeah, no, Galzian Siege definitely doesn't counter Coneth Siege. I wouldn't say that. And Coneth Siege doesn't counter Galzian Siege from range, but it can do it from close up, which is why I think Coneth Siege is generally like the better unit, but there are some cases where like you'd actually prefer having Galzian Siege for like the auto fire, but and it's a lot cheaper, by the way. That's also important to note. Anyway. Yeah, AVs actually do serious damage now, which is a nice change. But let's move on and cast the next one, shall we?